So how do you stay match fit then for playing golf? What do you...
For me personally, or
you personally?
So when I was playing full time, I would still like to go out on my bike. I would still like to do a bit of running, nothing too extreme. And I would certainly try and do a few more strength exercises, a bit more weights. Definitely a lot of stretching. I think the last 10 years has been a big eye opener in terms of stretching, which I think wasn't done 25 years ago when I first started. So I think I like a bit of CV work, but I couldn't stand on a treadmill for hours on end.
No.
So a bit of cycling, walking the dogs, and weights, I'd say.
Okay, cool. Have you got a favourite exercise then that you like to do, or?
I do enjoy, in a sadistic way, the TRX bands. I think they're quite versatile. I think they're really good, and I just really like stretching because I am constantly either stood up or been hitting balls for so many years. I think it is quite nice to get a full stretch and feel that your body's worked. So I like doing those. And I do like walking.
What's your least favourite
then? I think the least favourite, rowing machine. I think that is horrid. I think that really makes me want to gag. And stuff like burpees. And those are they climbers or something when you're on just things like that. Just
climbers.
Things that cause loads of effort. I really am not a fan of.
I tend to normally find those kind of exercises are for young people.
Yes,
I'm kind of late 40s now, and it's like burpees and mountain climbing. It's like, God, no.
I just don't think I need to do that anymore.
No, I think there's cool. So what do you think are the most common physical issues that you see with golfers that you teach?
In terms of technical, my biggie is posture. So from an address position, if your body is not set in a fairly correct way, rotation on the way back, rotation on the way down, hinging from your hips. So I think for me, posture is my massive picking point, that even like as from beginners, that's the first thing I would really get them to work on. So I think there's obviously so many people that sit in offices or cars nowadays that this rounded shoulders, which I seem to have today.
It's when you think about it, isn't it? When you think about it, you're like, oh, hang on, I'm doing it.
Whoa, hang on a minute. So let me just, I think, so posture is massive for me. And I think it just causes too many restrictions in movement, and then it causes a massive knock-on effect technically.
Yeah. Have you got any exercises that you kind of recommend then?
I think it is just in terms of setup, I'll work on drills like getting people to put the club on their head, through their shoulders, through their spine and through their back, and just get them understanding where we want to try and feel the bend or the hinge. So I think sometimes it's people go on comfort, and this is more comfortable for people. So I think it's retraining the understanding of the technical as long as they physically can do it. And I think that's where people like yourselves will come involved, because if someone physically can't do it, can it be fixed, or is it we have to adjust our technical around? I think for me it's like getting people to work on their golf games. They have to work on the physical side, they have to work on the mental side, they have to work on the nutrition. It's not just our job to get them to swing it better. There's a whole process behind it. And I think if they understood that, if you can work on changing a physical thing, that will get you technically better in the long run. But I think it is the buy-in of it all that people have got to realise they've got to do a bit of everything instead of just hitting balls, really.
So based on that, then, do you think that how important do you think fitness is to overall golf performance then? I mean, it's... Oh,
massive. I think that, so when I started playing golf, so I got into the England setup 20 something years ago. It was starting to get big. They were all about sprinting. They were all about like that kind of movement, jumping and stuff. And I think now looking back, if there was more mobility and more flexible and more stretching and more strength work built around that. That would have been more beneficial in the long run, because I've got an injury now with my hip, and that's basically because I hit too many balls probably as a kid and didn't, whether it was warming up or cooling down or stretching properly, I didn't do any of that. So I think as a whole, having been and done it, it's a massive part, really big part of golf.
Yeah, I think there's a lot, it's a lot more focused on the last question I was going to ask you, actually. Do you think it's important for young golfers to do the fitness side of it as well? So it kind of ties in with that question of, from a young age, you look at a lot of the pros, the guys that are always in the money, your Rory McIlroys, Dustin Johnsons, they're not really the golfers that I grew up with as a kid.
Yeah.
They're not like your Sandy Lyles and your Nick Faldo. Monties, they're such different, they're really physical, that you feel like they could do something else. They could, do other sports, not just play golf.
I think that is so. I've been quite fortunate. I've got to work at the Open a couple of times, and when you see them, literally not just like hitting balls, but when they walk past you, like Brooks Koepka is massive, like literally built like a tank. Dustin Johnson is built like a tank. Even like Phil Mickelson, they are all absolutely stacked. And you think they're athletes at the end of the day. I mean, it's a multi-million pound company game, and there's so much money to be made. So I think as children, and it worries me a little bit. So I work with two different counties, and I get the Diddy ones because I love working with them. And we do so much on like stuck in the mud and dodgeball and keepy uppies with your hands. And so we do really random stuff, which from afar probably looks like it's nothing relative to golf. But you try and get the parents to understand if these kids can't jump, catch, throw, skip, by the time of a certain age, they're really going to struggle with coordination and flexibility and movement in a golf swing. So for kids, that is the biggest thing I'd get them to do, is make sure they're moving and that they are enjoying it. Otherwise it's a bit tedious, instead of just getting them to do running. I think that's which no one enjoys. I think there's so many people that they're talking about in terms of the money that's being made on tour. Pretty much, I think the top 20 or 25 players in the world, they all hit it over 300 yards in the men's game. In the women's game, they all hit it over 250. So there is definitely an equation there that if you hit it far, you can deal with the other bits after it. And that's why I said, in terms of kids, I would rather kids just gave it a smash, even if they missed it. But what you get is parents are very much like, keep your head down, keep your feet still, let's try and control the situation, which I would say, let's go the opposite way. Let's get them to swing it so they fall off their feet or whatever, because like you said, it's easier to then build the control around that instead of trying to control it and then ramping it up. And I think that's where we get it so wrong, is we're so wanting performance straight away, want to see the ball go up in the air, and that's why we try and control it a bit too much too soon.
Definitely. I was just going to say, it's that thing about controlling. We always assume that it's such a controlled thing, but when you think about golf swing, it's like throwing. It's quite it should be instinctive, kind of a dynamic, instinctive movement. You watch the best players, and that's what you see. They're technically they're very good, but they have that. It's very natural in what they're doing.
And I think that's when people come for lessons and friends, partners, husbands, wives, whatever, have tried to teach them a little bit, it is all very much right. Let's get tight, let's get controlled, let's get heads down. And I think it's almost like it's better to come with nothing, because you kind of everyone's got something natural in them, and I think it's then they can be over taught and they can overthink it, and then all that, it's just going back to that control scenario, whereas just like swing a club, just give it a swoosh, let's just try and make this as automatic, whether they're a 4-year-old kid or a 60-year-old man or woman. It's the same scenario, as we want to make this more automatic, and most people have an automatic swing in there somewhere.
Definitely. Fantastic. Well, excellent.
Pleasure.
That was good.
Yeah, no, thank you. And just interesting to, so how did you get into doing this then?
Well, it's kind of a longish, winded-ish story, but I've always loved golf. I've always played it since I was a kid. And I used to be a graphic designer before, so I spent a lot of time sitting at a desk, kind of, very much an office job. And just had a lot of back issues, back problems and stuff. So trying to fix that, improving my physical fitness, got a bit fed up with, being inside all the time. So I stopped, just got to a point in my life where I was like, well, should I just try something completely different? And just tied in fitness with the golf. And it just seemed like a decent, I've just noticed that as I got fitter, over the last couple of years, I improved at playing golf. So it was like, it just makes sense to try and tie those two together. And of course, it's something I know as well. So that makes it a little bit easier. But
I think it's massive, and I think the more and more people more and more people are doing yoga and things like that because they know it's helping. So any good information out there is really helpful for golfers in general. I think that's why Instagram's massive now, and I think it will just keep growing and growing because you can show them one exercise that someone can go and do, and they can go and do it in their own time. They don't need to then get into a car to go somewhere.
No.
This online thing has just been quite wonderful for people, I think, just for timing.
Oh, definitely, yeah, especially for showing people stuff because most of the stuff I try and show is body weight stuff only, and it's all really short time. It's not time consuming. You haven't got to go to a gym. You haven't got to spend an hour and a half. Lifting weights and stuff. It's just literally something you think, I'll go and do that for 10 minutes in the back garden.
Yeah. And I think people can find that if they want to, they'll find that time.
Yeah, definitely. When it's 10 minutes, you can do that. So when people say to you, oh, right, now go to the gym and you've got an hour and a half program, it's like, oh, can I be bothered to do that? Probably not. Not after a day.
And I won't not. Yeah. No, that's, so if you were to say, so what is the, if I was to, let's say, have a group of people and I said, right, we wanted to work on a couple of things physically, what would they need to go out and buy? Would they need to go out and buy anything, or can they do stuff from home?
Not necessarily. No, pretty much do stuff from home. I mean, if I'm going to say to anybody get anything, it's probably just bands. Do a lot of stuff with just the different size bands. Yeah, that's about the only thing I recommend people. Also, as well, if you can get hold of a foam roller.
Yeah, it's gross, isn't it? But I love mine in a really sadistic way.
Yeah, the foam roll. Or if you really want to be a bit sadistic, then get yourself a hockey ball.
Yeah.
And swap that out for the foam roll. But that is a bit extreme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think again, it all comes back down to it. If you know something will work over time, I think you'll try it. I used to try anything if it helped me hit the ball further or hit it better. I would have dressed like a chicken if that had helped. It didn't, but so that's really helpful. And I think just like little clip-its like that, I think are really helpful for people to just be motivated. Really.
Yeah. I've been surprised how clubs are really kind of interested in it, especially the pros. Really interested in the fitness side of stuff, and like the ones I've spoken to are like, yeah, definitely, come along and talk to some of the members and go from there. So I think
I think that'd be cool when this is all done. I think we need to have a catch up and
that'd be fantastic.
Golf context, that'd be brilliant.
Over and have a chat.
No, that's cool.
All right.
Fab.
Fantastic.
Excellent. Well, we'll be in touch when this all is over and maybe do some stuff. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be superb. Lovely.
Fab.
Right. Thanks, Anna.
All right. Well, enjoy the rest of your day, whatever day it is.
Will do. And you. Take care, yeah?
All right. Take care. Thank you.
Stay safe. Bye.
Bye.